Hi, welcome to Inference. In this video, I will be talking about synthetic biology and genetic engineering. In the 21st century, the field of synthetic biology is rapidly evolving. This relatively new area of study is providing scientists with new tools and approaches to design and engineer biological systems for a variety of applications. As the field continues to develop, it is important to consider the potential implications of this technology on society and the environment. In its simplest form, synthetic biology can be defined as the application of engineering principles to the design and construction of biological systems. This includes the modification of existing organisms as well as the creation of entirely new ones. The goal of synthetic biology is to design and build biological systems with desired functions and properties. One of the key benefits of synthetic biology is its potential to address global challenges. For example, the development of new biofuels could help to reduce our reliance on fossil fuels and mitigate the effects of climate change. Synthetic biology is also being used to develop new medicines and treatments for a variety of diseases. In the future, this technology could be used to create food sources that are more resilient to pests and climate change. However, synthetic biology is not without its risks. There is a potential for misuse of this technology, for example in the development of biological weapons. There is also a risk that engineered organisms could escape into the environment and cause unintended harm. Despite these risks, the potential benefits of synthetic biology are significant. With proper regulation and oversight, this technology could be used to solve some of the most pressing challenges facing our world today. Synthetic biology is still in its early stages, but it is already being used to create new vaccines, diagnostic tools, and even biofuels. In the future, synthetic biology may be used to create artificial organs and tissues, produce food and energy more efficiently, and clean up environmental pollution. The origins of synthetic biology are in the field of genetic engineering, which began in the 1970s. Synthetic biology builds on this foundation to create new ways to design and engineer biological systems. The origins of genetic engineering are found in the work of Gregor Mendel, a 19th-century Austrian monk. Mendel discovered the basic principles of heredity through his experiments with pea plants. His work was rediscovered in the early 20th century, and the term genetics was coined in 1905 by British biologist William Batson. Batson and others realized that Mendel's work could be applied to other organisms, and the science of genetics was born. The first successful genetic engineering experiment was conducted in 1972 by Stanford University scientist Stanley Cohen and University of California, Berkeley, scientist Herbert Boyer. They inserted a gene from a bacterium into a mouse cell, creating the first genetically engineered organism. In 1973, Paul Berg, also of Stanford University, created the first recombinant DNA molecule by combining DNA from two different organisms. This work led to a moratorium on genetic engineering research, which was lifted in 1976. Since then, genetic engineering has been used to create plants, animals, and microorganisms with desirable traits, such as resistance to disease, pests, or herbicides. Genetically engineered crops are now grown in more than 24 countries, and more than 90% of the soybeans and 70% of the corn grown in the United States are genetically engineered. The human genome, the complete set of human genes, was first mapped in 2003. This achievement has made it possible to identify genes associated with diseases and to develop new treatments. In addition, researchers are using genetic engineering to create animals that can provide organs or other tissues for transplant into humans. What are the advantages of genetic engineering? The advantages of genetic engineering are many and varied. Genetic engineering can be used to create organisms with desirable traits, such as resistance to disease, pests, or herbicides. It can be used to improve the quality of life for people with genetic disorders, by introducing healthy genes into their cells. It can also be used to improve crops and livestock, by making them resistant to disease, pests, and herbicides. In the future, genetic engineering may be used to create custom-made organisms, designed to perform specific tasks. For example, bacteria could be engineered to clean up oil spills or to produce fuel. The potential applications of genetic engineering are limited only by our imagination. With further research and development, this powerful technology will continue to bring new and exciting benefits to humanity. What are the disadvantages of genetic engineering? The potential disadvantages of genetic engineering are many and varied. There is concern that genetically engineered organisms could have unintended consequences, such as creating new diseases or harming the environment. Genetic engineering could lead to the creation of new and more virulent diseases. The long-term effects of genetic engineering on the environment are unknown and could be disastrous. Genetic engineering could lead to the creation of superhumans, who would be significantly different from the rest of humanity and who could potentially dominate or even exterminate the rest of us. The use of genetic engineering to create designer babies who are born with predetermined physical and/or mental traits could create a new form of inequality and social stratification. The technology of genetic engineering is still in its infancy and is not yet well understood. As such, it is possible that unforeseen and undesirable consequences could result from its use. These are just some of the potential disadvantages of genetic engineering. In light of these risks, it is important to consider whether the potential benefits of this technology are worth the risks. What are the ethical concerns about genetic engineering? Some people believe that genetic engineering is a form of playing God and that it should not be used to create or alter life. Others believe that genetic engineering is a powerful tool that should be used to improve the human condition. The ethical concerns of genetic engineering are many and varied, and there is much debate surrounding the issue. Some of the main ethical concerns are outlined below. One of the main ethical concerns is the potential for abuse. Genetic engineering could be used to create designer babies, for example, where parents choose the traits of their child. This could lead to a new form of eugenics, where people with desirable traits are favored and those with undesirable traits are discriminated against. Another ethical concern is the impact on the environment. Genetically engineered organisms could escape into the wild and have unforeseen consequences on ecosystems. For example, they could outcompete native species, leading to their extinction. There are also ethical concerns about the impact on human health. For example, if genetic engineering is used to create crops that are resistant to herbicides, then those herbicides could potentially end up in our food supply and have harmful effects on our health. Finally, there are ethical concerns about the impact on animal welfare. Animals that have been genetically engineered could suffer from health problems as a result of the changes to their DNA. They could also be kept in conditions that are not conducive to their welfare, such as on factory farms. The ethical concerns of genetic engineering are complex and wide-ranging. There is no easy answer as to whether or not it is ethical. The decision will ultimately come down to a weighing up of the potential risks and benefits. What are the legal concerns about genetic engineering? There is debate about whether genetically engineered organisms should be regulated by the government. The legal concerns of genetic engineering include the potential for patenting genes and other life forms, the possibility of creating superior beings, and the ethical implications of manipulating the genes of future generations. Patenting genes and other life forms raise the possibility that companies or individuals could own the rights to certain genetic information, which could be used to control the breeding of plants and animals. The possibility of creating superior beings raises ethical concerns about playing God and creating life forms that are not natural. The ethical implications of manipulating the genes of future generations are also a concern, as it is unclear what the long-term effects of such manipulation could be. All of these concerns are currently being debated by legal and ethical experts, and there is no consensus on how to deal with them. What is the future of genetic engineering? The future of genetic engineering is uncertain, but it will likely continue to be used to create new organisms and improve existing ones. The field of genetic engineering is constantly evolving, and discoveries are made every day that could have a major impact on the future of the field. Here are some of the most promising areas of research that could shape the future of genetic engineering. Increased accuracy and precision of gene editing. One of the major limitations of current gene editing techniques is that they are not always accurate or precise. This can lead to unintended consequences, such as off-target mutations. However, researchers are working on new techniques that could greatly improve the accuracy and precision of gene editing. For example, CRISPR-Cas9 is a new gene editing tool that is much more accurate and precise than older techniques. New ways to deliver genes. Another major limitation of current gene therapy techniques is that it can be difficult to deliver genes to the right location in the body. Researchers are working on new ways to deliver genes, such as using viruses or nanoparticles. New gene editing tools. In addition to CRISPR-Cas9, many other new gene editing tools are being developed. These new tools could have a major impact on the future of genetic engineering. New applications of genetic engineering. Researchers are constantly finding new ways to apply genetic engineering. For example, genetic engineering is being used to develop new treatments for diseases, improve crops, and create new materials. Increased public acceptance of genetic engineering. There has been a lot of public concern about the safety and ethical implications of genetic engineering. However, as more people learn about the potential benefits of genetic engineering, public opinion is slowly changing. In the future, genetic engineering may become more widely accepted. These are just a few of the many exciting developments that are taking place in the field of genetic engineering. It is an exciting time to be involved in this field, and the future looks very promising. Alright, folks. That's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it and learned something new about genetic engineering and synthetic biology. Thank you for watching. Have a good one. Goodbye.